good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, Out of Voice Radio. So today, for the first time in almost a couple of weeks, we have got a new card to talk about, and that makes me a very happy Wassy indeed. There is a new Ultra Necrozma promo being given out at the Japan National Championships. It has been revealed over at PokemonCard.com, the official Japanese Pokemon card website. Hard to navigate if you don't speak Japanese, but a very nice website, if I may say so. And I, for one, think that it is a very good card that should see a fair amount of play. Not all the early impressions have agreed with me, so let me try and convince you why I'm saying what I'm saying. So first of all, it is a Pokemon that has 130 HP, which is very nice because stuff like Zoroark does 120 damage, which means that you will be able to take a hit from it. In the standard format at least, it's not getting a one-hit KO. This is very nice indeed. It has a retreat cost of 3, which on the one hand is nice because it can use Heavy Ball. On the other hand, doesn't really matter because by the time this comes out, Heavy Ball is clearly going to have been rotated. Uh-oh. It is weak to Fairy, which is bad because of Gardevoir. The good news is that the Dene hits 60 damage as long as you've got a lightning Pokemon on the bench. Well, with weakness, that's going to put you at 120. You will be able to take a hit. It will, however, be crushed by Clefairy, as long as Clefairy puts free energy on, because they copy the attack and then get an easy one-hit KO. Never mind, Clefairy's not seeing much play. Being a dragon type means you're hitting nothing for weakness, but you can use Devoured Field to do an extra 10 damage, and you have got Mysterious Treasure here, which will allow you to search it out, as long as you're playing kind of a psychic dragony kind of deck. It is a great advantage to have. Speaking of great advantages, it's an Ultra Beast. So you've got Ultra Space to search it out, which is very nice indeed. You've got Beast Energy, a special energy that allows you to do an extra 30 damage, which is quite nice, although not really needed, as we're going to look at with the numbers in a moment. And it means you have access to Beast Ring, which could be huge. My video earlier today was about how Beast Ring might be a little bit too good at the moment. I'll let you go check that one out. I'll try and remember to pop a link in the description. But the point is, it gets you an extra 2 energy from the deck onto one of your Ultra Beasts, as long as your opponent has exactly 3 or 4 prizes remaining. But the main attraction here really is the attack, and as has become somewhat of a tradition, the translation comes from the lovely David Hochmann. I messaged him this morning, he sent me a translation, he's a lovely dude. Do check out LimitlessTCG.com, it's a great website. And I mean that sincerely, they're not sponsoring me, I just think it's a great website. There is one attack here, and it's a bit of a doozy if the attack cost isn't just a little bit too awkward. For 2 Psychic, 2 Metal Energy, you do 100 damage. Well, 100 damage for 4 energy is a bit of a pain. But if you and your opponent together have 6 or fewer prize cards remaining, then you discard all energy attached to this Pokemon, bit of a pain, and do 200 damage. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is an awful lot better. 200 damage on a non-GX single prize Pokemon. There are really not very many Pokemon at all that can get close to that kind of number. I mean, one of the ones that jumps out immediately is a Guzzlord from Forbidden Light, that for 4 energy does 160 and probably is going to discard the top 10 cards of your deck. 200 damage on a non-GX Pokemon is utterly absurd. It's kind of KOing pretty much any GX you like with a non-GX absurd. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on how this can basically get a one-hit KO on any GX you like. It's pretty good. Now, 100 damage would be awesome if you were hitting for weakness. This is assuming there are more than 6 prizes remaining combined. But it's a moot point because you're not hitting for weakness. It would be doing 200. With a choice band, it would be doing 260. It would KO anything that was weak. But nothing is weak to Dragon, so like I said, bit of a moot point. 100 isn't enough to KO most non-GXs. Now evolving basics, your Routes, your Curlier, etc., they will be done, evolving stage 1s as well. And some setup Pokemon like Pachirisu will be KO'd, but your main attackers won't be. Even something like an Oranguru has got enough HP to survive this. Not ideal. But once you get up to 200 damage, that is absolutely awesome. It will one-hit KO all non-GXs right up to the ridiculous Wailord. Although, as I told you in a recent video, we are expecting in a new set to have a 220 HP Wailord. We'll worry about that when it comes around. And even then, you've still got Beast Energy you can use, so it's really not the worst thing ever. But it's going to KO a lot of the most relevant GXs. Buzzwole, Ultra Necrozma, Duskmane Necrozma, these Ultra Beasts which are seeing a lot of play and are likely to see a lot more play, largely because of Beast Ring, they all have less than 200 HP. They're going to be going down. But of course you can add a choice band here and then you're going up to 230 and most of the GXs are going down here. Zoroark, Gardevoir, Greninja, all of them are getting one-hit KO'd. There are some particularly beefy Pokemon like Decidueye and Solgaleo. Again, you have got Beast Energy if you're desperate, but you probably don't need to KO them at the moment, so we're going to be okay. And then, of course, the obvious thing to mention here. This goes brilliantly with Malamar and Beast Ring. I, for one, expect it to be at least a one-of in pretty much all of these decks. Because here's the thing, right? 200 damage on a non-GX is phenomenal. I really don't think there's much of a counter-argument. If you're hitting 200 on a single-prize Pokemon, that's ridiculous. There's got to be a catch. There is a catch. Psychic, Metal attack cost. That's the catch. But between Beast Ring, if your opponent's got 3 or 4 prizes remaining, search your deck for 2 basic and attach to an Ultra Beast, and Malamar, attach a Psychic Energy from your discard to one of your bench Pokemon, we have the potential here to actually get this up and rolling quite regularly. And that's a very good thing. What is not so good is the fact that it's going to be very difficult to stream this attack turn after turn. If it was Metal, Psychic, then you can get some Malamar down and you're fine. But you need to attach 2 Metal and 2 Psychic during your turn. Malamar will do the Psychic, but you can only attach 1 Metal. Technically, if you had a Malamar out and a Magnezone, then you could attach 1 Psychic with Malamar, 2 Metal with Magnezone, and then the second Psychic as your attachment for the turn. Please don't do this, that would be incredibly clunky. But the fact is that you're not going to need multiple KOs with this. You will need this once, maybe twice a game, to go and take a big KO with a non-GX. Hopefully you won't even have a GX on the field, and even if you do, force your opponent to have a Guzma in order to take it out, putting your opponent in an awkward position because they're just not going to be able to KO it. And let's remember Beast Ring here. Now, in terms of using Beast Ring and attacking with this to do 200 on the same turn, if your opponent has 3 prizes remaining, you need 1 to 3. If your opponent has 4 prizes remaining, you need 1 to 2. They're the parameters under which you'll be doing the 200 and you can use Beast Ring. But the thing is, just because you're not doing 200 now doesn't mean you can't use Beast Ring. You can just wait till your opponent's got 3 or 4 prizes remaining, Beast Ring onto a bunch of benched Ultra Necrozma, and then just wait there for when there are 6 prizes remaining between both players. Now, admittedly, your opponent can Guzma and KO it, that's always a risk, but it's sitting there to do 220 on a non-GX. And if I'm repeating that a little bit, there's a very good reason. There are not many non-GXs that can just casually KO any relevant GX in the format at the moment. And I know the attack cost is awkward, but between Malamar and Beast Ring, it's really not out of the realm of possibility. You can do this once or twice a game, pretty much every game. Now, this is probably the part of the video where some of you are sitting there going, come on, Wassy, why don't we just use Mew from Fates Collide? Mew from Fates Collide can just copy Ultra Necrozma GX's attack and you won't have to worry about it. I got 3 reasons why I'm playing this over Mew. Number 1, it's got more than 50 HP. When you attack with Mew, you are giving up a prize the following turn. You might be able to attack with Ultra Necrozma and not be giving up a prize next turn, which is doubly crucial because if your opponent can't take a prize and Beast Ring is activated, Beast Ring will remain activated. Number 2, Mew means that you need to have an Ultra Necrozma on the bench. With this, you can hopefully rid your bench of GX Pokemon so your opponent cannot take a 2-prize knockout after you attack with it. Number 3, it's actually gone to a list of 4, sorry. It's not turned off by Garboda. And number 4, which is probably the most important of them all, Mew's rotating in September. How are you going to play Mew in Standard then? I really like it. It is a shame that dragons aren't still weak to dragons, because then we would have had a repeat of when Black Kyurem was weak to and countered by baby Black Kyurem. Hey Nick, that's not happening because now they're weak to Fairy. But honestly, ladies and gentlemen, you got a single prize Pokemon that can KO any relevant Pokemon, pretty much. It fits beautifully into what might be the best deck in the format, and the awkward attack cost is really paid by Malamar and Beastring. So I'm giving it 4 Wassies. Oh yeah, and you can use counter energy with this, but it's nowhere near as good, so don't get too excited. I, for one, think this is a really good Pokemon, and I'm putting one in my Ultra Necrozma Malamar deck straight away. But maybe you disagree with me, in which case, great news, there's a comment section. Or maybe you agree with me, in which case, great news, there's a comment section. Go nuts, be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and so on, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio where you can do just that. And do check out my video game /Dragon Ball Super channel, Wassie Plays, for some more Wassie action. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.